So here's some work on adding some more solar to my car. This is another low voltage based panel. It's 130 watts. And it was a custom made semi-flexible SunPower cells, so the traces are behind the cells, not on the face. There's a film on it right now that I will eventually remove. And that was custom made to the shape of my hood. There's a significant curve here along the side that I wanted to avoid there. And there's a specific number of cells I wanted for a series connection to get to the voltage I needed, which is why, if you're going to ask why I don't have a few there. But even avoiding the side part, the hood still has a compound curve going this way and this way a little bit at the same time, and it's not consistent. It actually gets more significant toward the tip. Some of the early testing I did showed that the semi-flexible panel would take those curves, but it turns out it will take, say, one direction or the other, but not necessarily both simultaneously. Like a piece of paper, once you kind of cup it in one direction, it kind of forms a little tunnel, and it kind of holds that and resists being bent simultaneously in the other. Because it's a thermal setting plastic, the back or the face and so forth, for these semi-flexible panels, my thought is that today's going to be a 90-degree predicted sunny day, and I'm going to have another one tomorrow and so forth. So if I have a couple of those, and then maybe with the help of a little hairdryer or something, because I don't have an oven as big as this whole thing that I could regulate the temperature that way, I'm hoping that will soften it enough that it'll flex just a little bit. The cells themselves don't have a whole lot of flexibility, but a little bit, and then the joints can flex some. So if I can get each of those to kind of flex as needed, then that might give me enough overall to accomplish what I'm trying to do. So right now, we here at the top are about 40 millimeters up, and here toward the tip, we are 60 millimeters up. So we're going to see how that works. If it turns out that this particular design isn't going to work for the hood application, I mean, it's still a 130 watt solar panel I can use for something else. And oh yeah, the junction board is on the back of this and comes out there. So those are wires that come back out through, and right now they're just taped off, so there's not going to be any issue. But that's how the power would get into the car, and that would, of course, later be all sealed down. But if it turns out that I can't quite get this form factor to work, then another possibility is that I avoid that kind of ridge in the middle, which is creating the curve that way, and just split this into two sections, a left and a right, and make basically two panels on the hood instead of one. That's one approach. And another possibility is that since the biggest part of the curve, the most significant curve, the sharpest radius, is down here toward the front, another possibility is that if I, say, remove that bottom row, then that might be also sufficiently enough. And as I kind of said in the beginning, I didn't have any up here because of the specific cell count I wanted for series, but there is room up here that I could do, say, 2 on each side, which would be 4, and there's 5 cells on the bottom. So although not ideal, it would allow me, if I took off that bottom row, I'd basically just be 1 cell down from my ideal. I'd lose a little bit, but that might be another option to try if this can be flexible enough here and just not that sharpest curve down there. Or maybe a combination of those two, where if I move that up here and I split it into 2 panels to try to take off, to remove some of that side to side. So there's some alternatives if this approach doesn't work. But since I already have this panel, I figured I would test out this method as well, which I wanted to know about anyway, about the thermal curving and the panels anyway. So there you go.